It was supposed to be easy. Board the abandoned vessel, take what cryo-fuel they could find, then escape with her friends to Yvaga Three, away from the mines and away from the oppressive Wayland Corporation. Now her friends were all dead, and she was alone, fighting for her life against something her recently deceased friend had given birth to. The most terrifying thing she had ever seen. This couldn't be real. She must be having a nightmare. All she had to do was wake up. Rain Carradine had never known freedom. A miner on the harsh and unyielding world of LV-410. She had spent her life dreaming of the stars beyond, of planets untouched by Wayland-Yutani's omnipresent control. But for now, her only reality was the dim glow of the Wayland-Yutani's cockpit, the vessel she and her companions had stolen in their desperate bid for escape. The crew sat in silence as they approached the Renaissance. Their plan was simple: dock, find functional cryo-sleep pods, and escape to Yvaga Three. The only complication was Andy, Rain's loyal android companion. The others didn't trust him, least of all Bjorn, who made it a point to remind them that Yvaga Three did not allow androids. The Renaissance station loomed ahead of them, dark and foreboding against the backdrop of LV-410. As their ship drifted closer, the docking clamps engaged with a metallic clang that reverberated through the vessel. The airlocks hissed as they cycled open, groaning in protest as if resisting their intrusion. Inside, the air was stale and heavy, laced with the scent of rust and decay. The oppressive silence stretched on, broken only by the occasional flicker of malfunctioning lights that cast erratic shadows across the walls. Each step forward felt like an intrusion, a disturbance of something that had long been dormant, but was never truly gone. When Tyler and Bjorn removed some cryo-fuel from the station systems, the ship's temperature began to rise,
So hot in here, man.
triggering a lockdown. With the warmer temperatures, something that should have remained frozen begins to thaw. Face-hugger parasites now free from their cryogenic slumber. In an attempt to lift the lockdown, Rain gives Tyler a control chip from the station's damaged science officer android, Rook, allowing most of the crew to narrowly escape the swarm, but one gets through attacking Navarro, impregnating her with its seed. Desperate for a solution, the crew reanimates Rook, hoping he could help save Navarro. But the android offered only grim news.
Have mercy and end her life now.
He warned them to leave the station immediately,
Get out, however you got in.
revealing the horrors that had unfolded aboard the Renaissance. The crew refused to accept their friend's fate and devised a risky plan to freeze the parasite's tail in hopes of freeing Navarro. Miraculously, it works, and Navarro is released from the parasite's grasp. Rook continues to insist that it was too late, but the crew ignore his warnings. Rook then turns his plea to Andy, whose usual calm shifted into something colder, more analytical. He was no longer just Rain's companion, he was an extension of Wayland-Yutani. As Andy attempts to stop Navarro from leaving, Bjorn hits him with a cattle prod, giving Navarro enough time to escape back to their ship. That's when the parasite within Navarro reaches its final stage, bursting from her chest as she writhed in agony. As Kay held her friend in her final moments, Navarro says,
Please don't let me die.
and kicks the ship's controls, sending it crashing into a cargo bay across the station, the impact knocking the station off its axis, sending it careening toward the rings of LV-410. Kay woke from unconsciousness to find herself alone. Stumbling through the wreckage, she finds a slimy cocoon on the wall. That's when Bjorn attempts to fry it with a ton of voltage. Thinking it was dead, he lets his guard down, only for the creature to strike him in the face with its razor-sharp claw, causing him to fall into the acid dripping from its wounds, his screams echoing through the corridors. Panicked, Kay ran, turning to look over her shoulder only to slip over a ledge, knocking herself unconscious once again. When Kay regains consciousness, she watches as the xenomorph drags her friend away. When she tries to escape, a locked door blares an alarm, alerting the creature to her presence. Andy, standing on the other side, refused to open the door.
That's what the creature's waiting for us to do.
Kay's screams rang through the station. The alien had her now, its tail coiling around her leg as it dragged her toward the nest. Tyler screamed,
Could have opened the fucking door!
as they leave the room. Under Rook's direction, Andy collects a mysterious compound the scientists had been working on, a serum meant to improve humanity. As they prepare to leave, Tyler hears Kay's faint voice.
Stop!
Despite the danger, they take off after her voice, determined to save her. When they finally find her, a xenomorph attacks Andy, leaving him severely damaged, and Tyler gets impaled by a xenomorph's tail, killing him instantly. As the remaining two escape, Rain realizes that Kay has been infected, instructing her to go to their ship and enter cryostasis immediately to prevent the parasite from hatching. She then rushes back to save Andy, but as soon as Rain was out of sight, Kay injects herself with the serum, unaware of the fatal mistake she had just made. Returning to Andy, Rain manages to reset him. As the xenomorphs close in, Rain has a brilliant idea. She disables the gravity generators, sending everything floating into the air. Then, using her rifle's auto-targeting system, she mows all the creatures down, leaving nothing but acid blood floating through the station. The pair float themselves through the floating acid, finally reaching the elevator shaft. But as Rain nears the top, the generators briefly purge, restoring gravity just long enough for her to plummet downward. Mixed emotions fill her as a xenomorph catches her mid-fall, its tail tightening around her, saving her. Seeing this, Andy lets go from above, firing his weapon as he fell, unloading his clip into the beast before landing hard on the ground. The Renaissance was collapsing, its structural integrity failing as debris from LV-410's rings pummeled its hull. Rain and Andy barely make it to the Corbelan, sealing the airlock just as the station is consumed by fire. But the nightmare wasn't over. Aboard the Corbelan, Kay's condition worsened. The Z01 serum she had injected began to mutate her. Rain watched in horror at her friend's bulging stomach. Kay then births a cocoon containing a hybrid, half-human, half-xenomorph. In pure horror, Kay screams.
Get it away from me!
As Rain tries to carry the creature away, its acidic blood burns her hands, causing her to drop it. Then the cocoon melts through the ship's floor, vanishing into the cargo hold. Respond to all the noise, Andy checks in on Kay. That's when he saw it. The offspring. Andy, still damaged from his encounter with a xenomorph earlier, could do nothing as the creature strikes him down. Turning its attention to Kay, the hybrid sniffs the air around her, its alien tongue flicking as it loomed inches from her face. Returning to the room, Rain turns the corner and finds the abomination feeding on its own mother. It was taller than any xenomorph Rain had encountered, its alabaster skin stretched over a sinewy, almost biomechanical-like frame. Rain barely escapes the hybrid as she formulates a plan. Luring the hybrid to the airlock, where the void of space awaited, she waited. As the hybrid laughs at Rain, the acid from its cocoon eats through the hull of the ship, sucking them both into the void. Acting quickly, Rain yanks the cable triggering the release, sending the hybrid screaming into the abyss, its body disintegrating in the storm of debris outside. The silence that followed was deafening. Trembling, Rain recorded a final message into the ship's log.
This is a cryolog for the mining hauler Corbelan. I set course to the Yvaga system without knowing if I'll ever reach it, or what fate is to find me.
The Corbelan drifted into the void, its destination, Yvaga Three. She had escaped one nightmare, but in the darkness of space, new horrors awaited. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos.